Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we will be going down the 5 best gold making systems in WoW. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Coming in at number 1, we have a basic standard model for gold making practices, and that is gathering. Now gathering professions are pretty much the bread and butter when it comes to gold making, and is the one that is the one lower barrier to entry, the lowest barrier to entry when you're getting into this. Now, if you are going to be making gold, just be prepared that you probably will start off with gold making through gathering, and either picking one of the 4 ways in order to gather items. Now, there are a few ways in order to do this, and that is either using skinning, fishing, mining, and herbalism. The ones that are best at this moment in time, or which I prefer to be at the best at this moment in time, is skinning and herbalism. The other 2 are okay, but that being the case, those ones tend to be the best at this moment in time. Now, other than that, there are multiple ways in order to do this, and this is using the method of the 1 hour 7. 1 hour over 7 is the practice in which you do 1 hour per day, and it's a different farm every single day. So one day you could be doing the Whiptail farm for herbalism, and then the following day, which is, say we started on a Monday, so the Tuesday would be the Ajara's Vale farm, and then the Wednesday would be the Xenanthid farm. And now, sometimes with current content farms, you may want to double up on those hours. So for the Wednesday and Thursday, you could be doing Xenanthid. And at this moment in time, I'm going to just place a few farms that are probably worth your time, just as a simple introduction in how you would do this. The idea is to make sure that you've always got these on supply on the auction house, so you never run out. So gathering farms will be topped up as and when they actually sell. And at this moment in time, you'll be only doing like a 1 hour from end selling different type of herb or skin or mining or whatever you actually pick. But the basic premise is to make sure that you've always got those different types of materials on the auction house, as the more variety that you actually have on the auction house will increase the amount of gold that you're going to be making on the regular and the daily, especially with the new auction house where people can just buy the exact amount that they actually want. This will provide you with a lot of gold going forward, and in that time you'll be only farming for 1 hour a day, and you can still do all of your other stuff when you're actually when you're actually playing the actual game. So you're only investing 1 hour a day into gold making, and therefore once it's actually built up over a couple of weeks, you'll be starting to see a nice return on your hours spent, and you'll be pulling in a decent amount of gold while you're still playing the actual game. This will provide you with a load of gold each and every month, and will be able to afford you your WoW token. So that being the case, that is the weekly gather, or 1 over 7, at number 1. Now, coming in at number 2 is daily maintenance, and I've named this one daily maintenance because this one is utilizing your garrison and your tiller's farm. Now, the tiller's farm can be set up by doing a little chain quest over a few couple of days, and it will take you roughly about a week or so in order to get to the max. What you'll be wanting to do with the Tillia's farm is by planting the snake root in order to get a hold of Trillium, in order to get the white and black Trillium ore and the ghost iron ore every single day. This is a farming thing, so all you do is plant a load of seeds, and then the following day you pick them and then resow the seeds. This will provide you with a load of different types of mop ore, which you can then either smelt or put flat on the auction house per character. This is better utilized with people that actually have a lot of alts, so once it's actually set up, you can pull in a great amount of gold overall. Aside from that, but when it comes down to your garrison, you'll be wanting to do your daily farming routine. So that'll be going down into the mines, just picking up all of the ore and the herbs in the respective locations, and also making good use of the trader and your mission table, making sure that your followers actually have the scavenging technique or the extreme scavenging trait, and making sure that they go only for the garrison resources missions. Now, obviously, other things such as the Coal Fist Gronling mount will actually come up, and that is something that you can get because that's an easy 1000 gold, and every day you reset that mission table, gathering it on all of your garrison resources. What you'll be also wanting to do in the meantime is making sure that you use your trading post within this in order to get a load of sumptuous fur to make hexweave bags from your tailoring emporium from this, and then selling those on the auction house. Doing this on multiple characters will net you quite a substantial amount of gold each and every week, utilizing the Tilia's farm and the garrison farm. This is mainly for people that really don't want to put in that much effort, mainly about 10 minutes per character. And overall, if you have about 6 characters, it's an hour a day for daily maintenance, and you can still pull in a sizable amount of gold overall. That means that you can be lazy and still make a hefty amount of gold each and every week just by doing your daily resets and your daily maintenance, so to speak. So coming in at number 3, we have mount crafting, and this is one that I am a very big proprietor of. I love mount crafting, and I find this to be a great use of my time. I either farm to craft, or I buy all of the materials off of the auction house and post those on the auction house at the same time after crafting them into their respective mounts. Now, the ones of note are the panther mounts. They can be crafted for a reasonable amount of gold, yet the gold investment for crafted mounts is going to cost you quite a substantial upfront gold. So I'd recommend starting off with the weekly gather or the 1/7, and then getting into mounted crafting. So you'll be crafting all of the array of the different types of mounts and then posting those on the auction house respectively. At the beginning of the 0 to Gold Cap challenge at the beginning of the year, I went over how to do the mechanized chopper and the Vial of the Sands recipe. And not only that, I also did cover briefly over how to create the Panther mounts and how to best utilize this. I have done breakdown videos on how to source all of the materials if you do want to farm to craft these and invest your time into gathering the materials to craft the mounts, or you can always go on your TSM and either craft all of the mounts on the auction house for nice little upticks. This seems to be one of the best ways in order to make gold at this present moment in time while we're waiting for Shadowlands, and seems to be selling quite well. You won't see massive upticks when it comes to the Panther mounts. You'll get about a 5,000 gold profit here and there when you sell the Panther mount, and with the Vial of the Sands, it's roughly about 25,000 gold increase for the Vial of the Sands. And some will provide you with more profit than the others, but the idea is to make sure that you've always got multiples of all of them on the auction house. I go for 2s or 3s of each mount on the auction house at all times, so I don't flood the market and drive the price down for those respective mounts. And also, I like to have a stockpile of the sourced materials in my guild bank in order to make sure that production is key, and making sure that I've got always those mounts on the auction house all the time in order to pull in multiple gold. Now, the key thing with this is once you start off, you will lose a load of gold, so to speak, but it is invested in those mounts. Once you start getting into the flow, which will take you a few weeks in order to get regular sales on all of these mounts, you will see that your gold will come back to you and you still will have those additional mounts pulling in you extra profit. And then over time, it will provide you with more gold and more gold and more gold, and you will get your returned investment back along with your basic revenue that you're going to be getting overall. Aside from that, mount crafting is a great way in order to make gold if you really want to make gold in the long run, and I am very big on this. I love mount crafting because it is just such an easy way to make gold. It's like 10 minutes a day maintenance, and it takes very little effort in order to create multiple mounts and just keeping them supplied on the auction house. Now, coming in at number 4 is crafted gear. Now, the crafted gear or crafted flasks, potions, just crafting in general, is by utilizing your professions overall. This is somewhat like the mount crafting, but instead of specifically focusing on one particular area. We are focusing on your entire profession. The best ones for this are inscription and alchemy, and these are pretty damn good in order to get into. Or what you want to be doing with alchemy is creating the greater flasks of XYZ and then selling those on the auction house, making sure that you have your Silas proc. This means that you'll be getting loads of flasks and also making sure that you get the procs from your potions master and all that stuff. The other things that you want to be crafting is the flasks of titanic strength and the flask of the winds. These can be sold in the auction house along with the vial of the sands mount and the deep stone oil for the vial of the sands. So you'll be posting more of everything on the auction house, and over time you will see a return on your investment there. With inscription, however, you'll be crafting loads of the different types of inks and then selling those on the auction house, along with crafting an array of all of the different types of glyphs that you'll be wanting to create. I would recommend creating 3 of every single one, 3 or 5, and seeing which ones sell the best. That means you're not investing too much into all of the glyphs, and for obvious reasons, you'll be having every single glyph on the auction house, so even if one sells, you've always got more on the auction house to go with that. So therefore, it would be easier to keep up supply. And with the BFA glyphs, I would recommend having 3 or 7 on the auction house at any one time in order to keep the supply of demand up, as the glyphs for BFA still sell for a lot. Another little side note when it comes to inscription, I'd recommend that the glyph of the Sentinel, which is a Legion glyph, is still very highly valued and is one of the ones that you should be doubling down on. That being the case, crafting with the other types of professions like the uncanny gear, making sure that they're either at rank 2 or rank 3 for maximizing the amount of gold that you're crafting your crafted gear for, and that will pull in a lot of additional gold overall. This will be exactly like how we do the mount crafting, where you will seemingly lose a load of gold for your investments, but over time will balance back out and you'll be getting more gold overall. Aside from that, that is crafting in general overall. Now, coming in at number 5 is the most long-windedest one, but it still provides you with a hefty amount of gold even today, and that is mass transmogging. Now, transmog farming, or transmog just in general, is a great way in order to make gold. The only problem, however, is the setup. Now, what you need to get started with transmog, and I have done a guide a while back on how to get started with transmog, which is still relevant even today, and is still currently located on my, and even a non-video based one is written out on my website, theunderratedpixel.com. Now, aside from all of that, transmog farming is a great way in order to make gold. You just need to make sure that you have a variety of different types of items for transmog selling, so to speak. So you will need over 1,000 transmog items before you get regular sales. Now, if you're going for low-end transmog items, you will need over 2,000 of these items. And for medium-end transmog and high-end, I would have an array of 1,000 of those on the auction house before you will start to get regular sales for those. The only thing is you will have to do top-up farms, but they are not that bad. Aside from all of that, the setup will take you the longest amount of time before you start getting regular sales, but once you have that, keeping up maintenance for this will only take you a couple of hours per week for farming a specific raid, as transmog is pretty damn good overall for sell rates when you've got a massive variety on the auction house at any one time. The only thing that I would mention is the setup for this is patience. This is the thing that most people fall short on when it comes to transmog, as most people that don't really have much patience for transmog selling, they say that transmog doesn't sell. It does sell, and it's become a bit of a meme. On the serious note, if you want to get into transmog farming, I would highly recommend is just making sure that you have over 1,000 or 2,000 respectively of transmog items on the auction house. So making sure that you do a hell of a lot of farms in order to bulk out your auction house and provide a mass variety for your servers for your realm, and therefore you will start to see nice returns on your time that's been invested. This is a long-term game and not a short-term game, so just bear that one in mind. So if you have the patience for it, you may want to try it. Other than that, guys, that is the 5 best gold making systems in WoW. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. Have an awesome day, guys, and I shall see you soon.